Yeah. All right. Take two. We are live from the Caution to the Airwaves studio, fighting out of Newburgh, New York, the 845. Okay. All right. Sorry. Yeah, this is all right. Take two. I think one of the dogs might have hit the tripod we got going, maybe threw the little camera into a little blurry situation, but everything seems to be crystal clear now, right? Looking clear. All right. So good thing we didn't go like a full fucking hour with this shit. But like I said, we are live right now. And let me tell you, just to repeat myself, it's been a fucking hell of a weekend. By the way, I didn't even mention too. So I didn't even purposely put this shirt on. It's St. Paddy's Day weekend, but it's almost like things are meant to be. I had a shirt on earlier. Not that it was any big deal. It's just I was like, you know, today's my mom's birthday, so she came up. We went to brunch, and you know, I got put my going out clothes on, you know, and hit the old bruncheroo. Got me a couple Bloody Marys, which were delicious. Excuse me. But yeah, afterwards, got a couple donuts, got a cup of coffee, spilled some coffee on my shirt. I was sick about it. And then as I was looking in my closet for something else, I was like, maybe it's time to throw on a green shirt in honor of the St. Paddy's Day weekend, the fucking epic, chaotic St. Paddy's Day weekend that I had. Letting my 10% Irish fucking show on Friday into Saturday. And man, it was one for the books. Disgusting amount of alcohol and food ingested that day. Man, yeah. But the thing is, like, you know, in the past, I don't know what happened to me, folks. I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm in the best part, like the best time of my life, spiritually and physically. But yet, like the bad habits are just growing, and not really, but like. When it comes to alcohol, like okay, this is like turning into like an intervention now. I'm like explaining my alcoholic ways. No, but honestly, like I grew up, alcohol never sat well with me for some reason. Like I always wish it did. House parties growing up and stuff. I was always a stoner. I was a big stoner. But and then like the tides have just changed. Like I just enjoy a good brewski every now and then, you know? And sometimes it's not about like getting trashed. Like I just really love like the taste of like certain beers, and you know, and then that will turn into like meeting with friends and having a good time and getting some food and hanging out here and there. And it's just, you know, am I such a bad person for that? I mean, that I just like to see friends and, you know, get a little loose, you know. But anyway, I'm going to slow it down this week. I'm going to get healthy. Because, you know, that's the thing. I also have an addiction to, you know, feeling healthy these days. You know, I don't want to call it fitness, because I feel like fitness sometimes could be misconstrued with, you know, looking better and stuff. And honestly, for me, it's like, that's just the benefits. That's just an extra benefit that comes after feeling really good, like internally and externally. So that's the feeling I love, just that really clean, good feeling good. And sometimes I just feel so clean that I just, you know, feel so on top of the world, so good that I just want to dirty myself up a little bit. And you know what? That's life. There's a balance. Everybody has their vices, and this is life. We all just trying to figure our path, live it the best way we know how, and take the little lessons along the way so we could live a better life on a daily basis. I mean, it is what it is. But yes, it was a shit show, St. Paddy's Day. You know, I'm just going to leave the story I left out before, because that's actually someone people may know. So now I feel like we need to edit that, because now it makes it sound way worse than it is. It really wasn't a big deal. It wasn't something like that extravagant. Basically, someone tripped and smashed their face into a car. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, what do you expect? It's dark out. People are drunk. What the fuck? St. Paddy's Day. Come on. No one got pulled over. Knock on wood, thank God. Nobody got in trouble. Everybody got home safe. It was a very fun night, weekend. UFC was on Saturday. Perfect day. Perfect thing just to Oh God! And like, what is better than every now and then like having these early cards? I mean, I'm becoming an old man these days. Sometimes these cards, you know, the American cards, usually the time slot of a pay-per-view is, you know, early. You got the early prelims, then you got the 8 o'clock prelims, then you got the 10 o'clock prelim or main card. But sometimes those main cards will go to like 1:30 in the morning, and you know, I'm getting old. I mean, I don't want to be up to 2 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, when the fight night's over, you're just so amped up from the amazing, like, storylines and championship bouts and, like, these come from behind victories and these underdog wins. And it's just like, you're so inspired. And literally, I'm saying, like, how I feel a lot of the time, especially after pay-per-views. This one did not disappoint either. I mean, just so much inspiration out of this one. So many beautiful storylines. And sometimes when it's over, you need like 2 hours to come down, at least as a viewer. I can only imagine these fighters. They fucking, some of them party, some of them go home and intend to sleep, and they're like, I got no sleep last night. I literally, because what do you think? You just fucking fought in a cage in front of millions of people and like won the belt. Like, that must be the best. That feeling, like, that just seems like one of the most beautiful feelings in the world, when you just train months and months on end against someone who's also training against you, and then, you know, you're the best of the best, the number one versus the number two, the challenger versus the champion, and then you step into the ring, and all these months and the lead up and all this stuff, and then the moment happens and you capitalize, and however you win it. But sometimes it's a hard fought win, sometimes it's an easy one. I feel like the hard foughts probably sit better emotionally. They probably give you a different like emotional feeling. But yeah, you like this main event with Leon Edwards and Kamaru. I mean, five round fight, goes the distance. Kamaru Usman, we a lot of questions coming into this one. We were all wondering if Usman was going to be a little less confident, if he was going to train harder and be a better version of himself. Like, you never know how you're going to come back off getting knocked out, especially the way he did, you know, winning the fight, 5th round, catches a fucking shin to the headshot, bang, as Leon said, and got his lights put out, literally, like, you know, eyes rolled to the back of the head shit. And like, I mean, it was a scary sight. I mean, his family was there witnessing it. And these are serious moments that you just never know. You just never know how that's going to make someone feel their next time out. And I think Kamaru showed up, the dog he is, the champion mentality he has. He showed up with all of it. He showed up as the Kamaru Usman we all know. He was very game to stand with Leon. But I'll tell you what, Leon showed up. I don't know if I said this time or the last time, but Teddy Atlas put out a tweet before the fight saying, when a fighter becomes champion, for some, like, whatever reason it is, it's like they immediately become 30% better, and that's probably just off sheer confidence alone. And, you know, especially when you're Leon and the way you won and you knocked out the pound for pound best dude ever, you know your confidence has to be through the roof. We already know the dude's a hard worker. I mean, his physique, this was the best version of Leon ever. I mean, his physique was the best version of himself. Looked better than he's ever looked, physique wise. Looked very efficient on the feet. The dude is just so like so we were talking about this, and this is just an interesting like fact about fighters sometimes. And I hate to jump around and stuff, but the fight before this, obviously, we all knew what we were going to get with Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. But so, like, you watch Rafael Fiziev fight, and that guy is so fast and so explosive, and it's so technically good. But sometimes, and to compare it to someone else, like another guy is like Edson Barbosa, sometimes those guys are just, it's too much. Like, it's too much too early. And it causes them to have a really big drop off towards the end of the fight, where like their torque and their explosion is just so fast twitch that it tires them faster. And then there's fighters like Leon that everything is like very methodical, very like he's not like pumped up and going crazy. He's just there. He's like he's giving good feints, and when he lets it go, it's tremendous power and tremendous torque and tremendous explosion, but he's not putting 100% on it. It's like, it's more like 80. And 80 from like a professional, you know, kickboxing style fighter is death like for anyone, like any normal layman. But you know, he just knows how to control himself a little better. Although 5-round fight, it did wear on him towards the end. But then again, Kamaru Usman throwing takedown attempts. It's Kamaru Usman too. He's a strong guy. He was pressing Leon a couple times. Just to say, Kamaru landed 4 out of 15 takedowns. Leon's takedown defense was tremendous. And even every time he did get taken down, he was able to stand back up. And it was a phenomenal performance by Leon, and this is why I picked him. Obviously, London card brought it back to his backyard as the champion. Confidence on 100 coming into this. It was just so much going for him that I couldn't imagine Leon. Like I just knew he was going to be a better version of himself, and that's not to take away from Kamaru, because you know that he's always going to have a chance. He's one of the best ever, but it just wasn't going to be enough for this new champion mentality that Leon has. And I just feel like this one just once again is going to feed him even more. But I tell you what, there's some killers out there. There's some killers in the welterweight division. Dana White in the press conference already said that, pretty much making it definite, saying that Colby Covington is next. I like it. I think everyone should like it. I think a lot of people are complaining, saying like, there's a couple people complaining, including Leon himself, saying oh, like, he's the champ, he should have to choose, which I don't like to hear that stuff. I don't like to hear that, because it's like, I hear what you're saying, Leon. You are the king. You get to have a say always, for sure. But you're not going to tell me that Masvidal, even if he beats Burns, even if he knocks out Burns, would deserve a title shot over Colby Covington. I mean, they both kind of have their own beefs. Obviously, the Masvidal one is way more tension behind that beef between him and Leon. But I just think that Colby Covington makes more sense. He's the more. I mean, Colby beat Masvidal not too long ago. Colby's has only lost to Kamaru Usman. Twice to state, but both times very close fights, both times. Second one even closer than the first. I just don't see why anyone would complain with that. I think it's great. I think it's a good matchup for Colby as well. But at the same time, I also think that this new champion mentality of Leon might just be like, I think he's just on a different level. And there's no telling his potential, honestly, is what I'm trying to get at. I mean, he's on now like a 12-fight win streak, maybe even 13 now. I think he was on a 12, and now it might be 13, which I feel like they don't like to credit him that because of the whole Bilal Muhammad shit with the eye poke thing. But, I mean, he's on a 12-fight win streak either way, and he has not lost since. And now he just beat Kamaru Usman twice, second time way more soundly. There was a little controversial part. He had a really bad fence grab, and they pulled a point away from him in one of the rounds. And thankfully for Leon, one of the judges gave him that round, so it evened out to be a draw that round, rather than it becoming a 10-8 for Kamaru, which could have made it a draw. Which, if I'm being honest, I have to rewatch the fight. I'm not going to lie. I have to rewatch the fight, because there was like 2 or 3 really close rounds. I gave the fight to Leon, but I have to rewatch it, because I might easily have also had it. I might have given Kamaru 2 of the rounds, and then with that point deduction, that would make that round a draw, which would ultimately make it 2 rounds, and a draw round, which is a draw. It would have been a draw on my card. But that's just my first time watching it through. If I rewatch it, I might give another round to Leon. That I think that, I try to be unbiased when I judge a fight from home, obviously, but I just try to be unbiased as possible when it comes to judging, because I don't want, it's like the whole thing with the Volkanovski fight with Islam. And my unbiased side said, yeah, I see how Islam probably won the fight technically, but visually, and by the end of it, you kind of do feel like Volkanovski won that fight as a whole. But technically, if you're going to go by the rule standards and the round standards, Islam probably did win. So it's one of those. Either way, congratulations to Leon Edwards. The dude looks on top of the world and top of his game right now, and I cannot wait to see him back. I think he just needs to shake that mentality of that he's going to pick his next opponent, and he just needs to just dial in for Colby Covington the same way he did for Usman. Come with the same mentality, the same confidence, and don't worry about who they're trying to give you. You're the champ. Let them feed you, and just be ready for all of them, because once you beat Colby, you never have to worry about him again, unless it was like a draw or something. But so you just, regardless, like I said, you have killers behind you. You have Khamzat in the out there. You got Gilbert Burns, who is not easy for anyone. Gilbert Burns beats Masvidal soundly. He's right there for a title shot. Him against Leon, the striking and the grappling in that fight, it would be amazing. So there's a lot of killers out there in welterweight. Shavkat Rakhmonov, oh my God. I mean, imagine that kickboxing match between Shavkat and Leon. And Shavkat mixes it up with the takedowns as well. So, and his striking is definitely going to open that up more than Usman's striking does. So stop worrying about who you're fighting and just be ready, train hard, and fucking just keep checking them off, and then you'll be undeniable. So yeah, we'll leave that one there. Now we'll go to the co-main event, because this was the fight of the night, the one fight of the night. And what a fight it was, man. Like I said before, Rafael Fiziev, this guy is so good technically, and he's been a Muay Thai fighter since a young kid, and trains in Thailand, and it just all shows. He is incredibly fast, incredibly powerful, but to his detriment, I think, especially when you're fighting someone like Justin Gaethje, who has a chin, who has a lion's heart. You're gonna either have to take him out in that first round, because Justin Gaethje's gonna be throwing that shit at you all fucking day, to the very end of the bell. And to me, it just seemed like Fiziev won round one, and looked amazing, and then just slowly but surely started to take a little pop off his punches, a little slower. Round two was very close. But it seemed like by the end of it, Gaethje was landing and doing way more damage also to the face as well. Gaethje wore the damage well. He did not. I did not see too much going on with Gaethje's face as I did on Rafael's. Gaethje is just a monster, man. And we were saying this in the car before, how Justin Gaethje is going to be one of these fighters that when it's all said and done, which, by the way, he did say in his post interview that this is his last title run, and he was happy that the crowd came out because he wasn't sure how many more he's going to have. Because pretty much saying to me, if he loses, he'll retire, because if he's not fighting for the belt or trying to get to the belt, that it's going to be over. So he just beat a great opponent. He might have to fight one more time to get a title shot or something, and then he'll probably fight for the belt again if he wins, and then that'll be his last fight probably, or unless he wins, and then he'll probably defend. But either way, when everything's all said and done, Justin Gaethje is going to be one of those people that we all look back with the most fond memories. The probably has put on literally has put on the most entertaining fights. I mean, I could just rattle off a million. I mean, Michael Chandler, fight of the year. By the way, 11 fights in the UFC. Every single one of them got a performance bonus. A lot of fighters there's a lot of people out there that have never had a performance bonus in their life. Justin Gaethje, his style of fight gets him a bonus every single time. 11 fights, 11 bonuses. His nickname is the human highlight. I mean, that's exactly what he is. He's a fucking highlight machine, and he just and it's not like reckless abandonment either. He is like torquing that hook. He switched it up at the end, and like, he was hooking Fiziev very well the whole fight, and then all of a sudden the hook started to get a little more Fiziev started to see that coming and was able to avoid that more. And then Gaethje, when you think that he's just like this like hard-headed animal that doesn't like know anything or something, he just switches up to the jab and then starts jabbing the fuck out of Fiziev, and you're like, wow, that jab is landing and it's doing damage. And then once the jab started bothering him and Fiziev was like trying to get away from the jab, he's throwing tremendous power uppercuts, like, and landing them so beautifully. it's just art. It's art, like watching this guy, and it's also it's sometimes disturbing. I mean, how hard he throws and how hard he lands, and it's like how do these people not just drop when he hits them? It doesn't even make sense, but it's beautiful to watch. And like I said, when everything's all said and done, people are going to look back and say Justin Gaethje was a motherfucker, and also one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining, mixed martial arts fighter to ever watch. Like, you know, and also coming off that, in this card at one point they had a beautiful presentation for Anderson Silva being inducted into the Hall of Fame in July, and I had the same feeling like when they were showing that, how thinking back in Anderson Silva's prime, when I would when we literally my mom or her boyfriend, all of us would rent this fight and sit down, because and it would always be Anderson Silva, Brock Lesnar. Like, something about when those people fought, like Anderson Silva more specifically, like you knew when you were watching an Anderson Silva fight, like you were watching like greatness. You were watching something very special. I compare it to like probably what it felt like when Muhammad Ali was stepping in the ring and the people were going to gather around and watch a Muhammad Ali fight. You just knew that you were watching greatness and something very, very special, regardless of what the fight looked like, just because of who the person was and, you know, the pioneer they were, and the things they've just done for the sport, and, you know, their outspokenness, their controversies, like, and just their greatness, and all of that put together. It's just, you know, Gaethje comes from that ilk, but he comes from the violence, the highlights, the chaos, but also a fantastic mixed martial arts fighter. And he got his takedown. He got his takedown at the very end of the fight. Put a fucking exclamation point on the fight. And then comes on the mic after and he said, "There, motherfuckers, there's your takedown. Now you can shut the fuck up." And I thought it was a very funny statement, because Justin Gaethje is a NCAA collegiate wrestler, and this guy does nothing but steps in there and throws leather. And everyone always says, if Gaethje would just use his wrestling, he would just be so much better and he'd win fights and blah, blah, blah. And we already know about his takedown defense, because people try to take him down all the time. The only person that was able to be successful with that was Khabib. So, and that's different. I mean, Khabib is, again, what greatness. But, yeah, Gaethje, man, fucking got that takedown. Which was nice to see. It was nice because it was like it was, you know, it did show that maybe he will do a little bit of that to, if it comes down to it, to make sure he gets wins so he can get the belt. So we shall see with that. And I almost hope, you know, I hope he does get to hold the belt one day. He was an interim champion. In my eyes, I respected it too. I mean, I believe that was the fight against Tony Ferguson too, when he got it. So, I mean, champion in his own right. If you're going to ask me, I'd call him a champion. Obviously, the interim is a little bit of a thing about it, but champ mentality, obviously. And I hope to see him raise the undisputed belt one day. Rafael Fiziev will be back, that's for sure. I mean, that guy, he loves this shit, man. He loves it. He's posting after right away. He posted a picture of himself with a cut, face all bloody, from the fight, and he said, "This picture was worth it." That's all he said. This picture was worth it all. And he did very well. It was a close fight. He did very well. So, yeah. And then, I mean, everything from the prelims up was really like, everything was good. There was names riddled throughout this. Before that fight, we had Gunnar Nelson take on Brian Barberena. Gunnar Nelson came in the high favorite. I almost thought they were disrespecting Bam Bam a little bit, but nah, I guess not, because Gunnar got him to the ground and did what Gunnar does, and that's choke a motherfucker out and put some damage on the ground while he's down there. Damaged him up, opened him up, found the choke, got the tap. Simple as that. Actually, sorry, no, it wasn't a choke. It was an arm bar. That's why I was just thinking about it. There was other chokes that happened this card though. But beautiful armbar. Gunnar Nelson is a motherfucker. I would like to see him more active. He's always like, I feel like he fights once a year, if that, and everyone loves him. I think we need to see more Gunnar Nelson. Well, and I don't think he got hurt this one because he literally got right to it, took him out in the first round. Let me stop fucking with this. So I want to see Gunnar Nelson more active as a fan. What was before this one? Oh yeah, this was a great fight. Jennifer Maia, Casey O'Neill. Now this is one of those fights where Jennifer Maia opened up very well. She looked on point. She was landing very, very well on Casey O'Neill. But then Casey O'Neill just kept, like, by the end of the first round, Casey O'Neill was landing well. Like, even though Jennifer Maia was landing the punches and bunches, Casey O'Neill was landing some shit that was getting respect out of Jennifer for sure. And then come the end of the first round, Maia definitely took the first round. And then as the fight went on, Casey O'Neill just got a little bit more and more aggressive as it went on. I think a 5-round fight could have looked very different. I think Casey O'Neill maybe just waited a little too long to just let it go, and the way she did towards the end, like come the third round, she was stomping down, not walking down. She was stomping down Jennifer Maia, like with tremendous pressure. Jennifer Maia was starting to wear out. Casey O'Neill was not. She was landing brilliantly. I almost wouldn't have like hated a decision win for Casey O'Neill in that fight because the way it happened. But I think it was one of those, again, where Jennifer Maia in the second round did just enough to get the second round. Technically, she wins 2 of the 3. Obviously, you get the decision. But by the looks of it, Casey O'Neill was the more dangerous, and come the end of the fight was trending towards winning. So, yeah, you hate to see it. Casey O'Neill, hard on herself. I had to respond to her tweet because I'm like, yo, chill. That was a fucking impressive performance. So, because some fighters are like, sorry, I let you guys down, blah, 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 blah. And, fighters, they lose, they get in their head. Like, and, not to be on some fanboy shit, but, like, I'm not going to feel some type of way about responding and saying, yo, hold your head high. Like, that was an impressive fight. And, like, you just got better and better. And, like, you were, like, I can't wait to see you again, and if anything, like, be proud of that fight because it was awesome. That's it. That's something along those lines. But sometimes you just got to let these people know. We're all human. We're all insensitive. Not insensitive. We're all insecure. Some of us are insensitive. I could be at times, I'm sure, but we also need to have tougher skin sometimes too. This fight started with a banger. Marvin Vettori, Roman Dolidze, the Georgian. Like I said, a couple of my picks did not hit. I was going for Casey O'Neill, very close. Casey O'Neill really poured it on at the end, but just couldn't get the win. I picked Dolidze in this one. This one, I think, if I'm going to be... You see, I could easily be biased here and say, because Dolidze was landing some heavy shots. Definitely affected Marvin more than Marvin was affecting Dolidze. But either way, Marvin was landing very well. He looked like the more technical striker as well. Dolidze had like one punch that like was landing the whole time. Marvin Vettori was switching it up beautifully with the leg kicks, throwing some straight down the pipe shots with the hands, mixing it up very well. And I think that's why ultimately he got the win. I still think Dolidze, there was definitely an argument for Dolidze to possibly get his hand raised, but yeah, I don't know what to say. It was a good fight though. I mean, there's 2 big motherfuckers just going at it, and some of the toughest dudes in that division as well, and that's exactly what the fight looked like. It was just 2 really tough guys willing to trade and take shots from each other, and ultimately Marvin just switched it up at the end like beautifully. Same thing with like Gaethje, where Gaethje in the beginning was landing, and then fiziev catches on and then was forced to switch it up. That's kind of what happened with Marvin. Marvin was like, his game plan wasn't going well, and then he had to switch it up well, start throwing a lot more leg kicks in, a lot more combinations, and then started landing really well in Dolidze. So I'm not really mad about it. I think Marvin deserved the win, and I was happy to see it too. Dana White, after talking about maybe trying to get a fight in Italy soon, I love that, or Spain, all those things. So but Dolidze, he will be back. Georgian fighters, one of the few of the Georgian wave going on. Can you just scroll down the prelims? I just want to see Jack Shore got a beautiful win on Amir Khani. Ultimately gets the choke. Looked a little. Just a little mention. I thought Jack Shore did not look like he was in the best shape. I feel like Jack Shore is a phenomenal talent, and he has so much potential. And I just don't like to see that when dudes are a little like, soft in the midsection. Not really like. I get it. It's fighting. You don't need certain muscles for it, but. Come on, like Jack Shore, he's one of those guys so highly talented. I would like to see him come in better shape, and I think he would be even more of a problem than he already is. But shout out Jack Shore though, because he still did what he had to do, and he got the submission on Makwan Amir Khani, who is no joke ever. So, yeah, I mean the Chris Duncan Omar Morales fight was very entertaining, very entertaining. I mean, fun fight. If you didn't catch the prelims. That's all I'll say is worth a watch for sure. This one was scary. Fucking the Israeli Yano Ashmuz fucking landed something on Patterson that just put him down. As Patterson was taking a back step, put him down and just immediately was able to get in mount and just took some really ugly shots in mount. Scary moment. This dude Sam Patterson got up. I swear it was like 2.5 minutes. He was fighting the ref. Like he thought the ref. Sometimes fighters get knocked out. And when they come to, and the ref's like holding them like, hey, take it easy. And sometimes they come to and they start grappling the ref. They're like wrestling them and shit. And he was doing that for like literally like 2 minutes. It was the longest I've ever seen someone like fight the ref. This is the one I wanted to mention because this was fucking amazing. Muhammad Mokaev, obviously at this point, this dude has only fought in London so far since coming in the UFC. Every London card they've had so far, he's been on it. Took on Hafel Filo. Filo, worthy opponent, definitely gave Mokaev a little bit more of a test than he's used to. But Mokaev, man, at the end of this was so ugly. Mark this time because I want to try to find a picture. Filo got Mokaev in this knee bar that was so ugly. He was hyperextending Mokaev's knee, and he did. He hyperextended the fuck out of it, and Mokaev just did not tap. Dagestan, born in Dagestan. Claims UK as where he fights out of. I mean, because I think he lived there like most of his life. But oh my god, bro, the mentality of some of these people. This guy just had the ugliest knee bar put on him. It was so deep. It was so good. It was perfect. He tore his knee. He literally hyperextended Mokaev's knee and tore it. Had to have. We haven't got the official update yet, but everyone's just like, everyone knows. Because he tore his shit, did not tap, did something, finally was able to get out of it, and immediately couldn't stand up. Like he was wincing, he was like in massive pain every time he did something with the knee. But then like the mentality of like, fuck, like it's kind of a close fight and I just got my knee torn. And instead of like saying like, I can't go anymore, my knee's fucked. Like he almost felt that pressure and it made him lunge onto him and do everything he can to finish Filo, which he did. He was able to reverse position, take Filo's back, and get him to tap to not even under the neck. Like it was a neck crank on the jawline that almost like similar to the Valentina shit where the grip was just so tight that Filo tapped. So Mokaev gets his knee torn apart, reverses position. Obviously, the dude is in so much pain, and just reverses position, gets the back, and gets a choke win. Like when the fight was so close to begin with. It's funny how sometimes if you just get if you get taken advantage of in a physical way, and you're that level fighter, like that, sometimes it'll just be the drive to make you like go like kick it up a gear and really just. Almost like a pride thing. I'm trying to like I can't really explain it. It's like your pride comes into play. Like you're fighting a good fight, you're winning the fight, you're okay with how you're performing, and then someone lands something on you or does something to you that really fucks with like your ego and pride, and it turns you into this gear that you just didn't even realize you had sitting there, and then all of a sudden you get a finish like 2 seconds. This happened like not too long ago too. where it was Davy Grant, but this also was controversial too with Davy Grant. Davy Grant was losing the fight. I think, Davy Grant did a cage grab. Oh shit, not Mando. Davy Grant grabbed the cage. They stopped the fight. They fucking took a point away, and then they fucking put him in standing position. Davy Grant was losing the fight, lost a point, and then all of a sudden just knows he needs to go for the win and gets it like 30 seconds after. So it's funny how that happens sometimes. Just scroll down. I just want to see if there's very close, very amazing fight. Maybe even arguable to some. Leron Murphy, Gabriel Santos, very entertaining. Worth a mention, worth a shout out. Keep going. This one was unfortunate. This dude did get his knee. Dusko got his knee torn by making his debut, Christian Leroy Duncan, who's a scary guy, by the way. Dusko took a bad he just took a bad step, tore his knee, immediately went down and started screaming, and the fight ended just like that. Unfortunate situation. Oh yeah, I'm happy I didn't go too fast. Jake Hadley, this is my guy right here. I love this guy. Comes out with the swagger. This dude just is oozing confidence, and one of only 5 flyweights from the UK ever, and just made it look easy on a guy like Malcolm Gordon, who went the distance with Mokaev before, and Jake Hadley just made short work with him. Beautiful boxing, beautiful fucking body work. I love body shots, bro. And this man landed a beautiful one. He landed one, it affected him, hit something at the top. As he came in, hit him with the fucking, a more perfectly placed body shot, and it just folded Gordon. He couldn't even do nothing. He just arms to belly, rolls over, and just was done. And that's one of my favorite style knockouts to see, is body shots. Because they work, and people don't do them enough. And when people know how to use them, I love it. It literally feeds my soul. Feeds my soul. Jojo Calderwood back in the win column. Great win over Luana Carolina. Poor Luana Carolina just does not do well in the UK. Where she got famously spinning back fisted by Molly Meatball and got knocked out the last time in the UK. But what this girl fight in Brazil? All right, enough with the UK for this poor girl. Jai Herbert, UK native, gets it. Oh, it was a draw. Yeah. Yeah, that was a close fight. Good fight, though. And then Veronica Hardy, who is not her last name. Veronica Machado was her last name. And she got married to Dan Hardy, who is a UK guy. And now her name is Veronica Hardy, because that's how marriage works sometimes. And she looked good. And it was nice to see, because I said before this in the last episode that she was starting to fall off. And I was wondering, how motivated she was to do well. I mean, she has a lot going for her. She does a podcast. She makes money. Married, doing fine. She's flourishing. So sometimes you wonder where your heart's at in fighting when it comes to that. And she looked feisty. She looked mean. She looked great. So it was nice to see her get back in the win column too. And yeah, that was really the sum up of that card. Amazing card. UK fans were lit as usual. But yeah, let's look ahead to next week. And then at the end of this, I'll make my picks, and obviously that'll come out later in the week, like last week's did. Yes, I mean, Marlon Chito Vera taking on Corey, the Sandman, Sandhagen. What else do you need to hear as far as that matchup goes? I mean, the ones that know that this is it's a main event for a reason. I love that it's a main event. That means we get 5 rounds. I don't think this will be an early one either. I think this is going to be a dogfight. Look at this. Chito Vera coming in plus 135. Slight underdog. Wow. Okay. I mean, Sandhagen I think he's a little taller, a little rangier. Man, what a matchup. I can't wait to make my picks on these. Not that I can't wait. I mean, this one is going to be, I'm just excited to watch this fight. And I already peeked before at the rest of the card, and it's a good card. It's a very good card. Where are they fighting? What does it say? Oh, San Antonio. Nice. In an arena. It's going to be packed out. It's going to be sold out. Texas fans, I'm sure they're going to come lit too. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be honest right there, just like as an early little preview into how I'm feeling about it. I think Corey Sandhagen is, you can never count that guy out, but that Marlon Chito Vera has just been working with some different energy lately. I feel like he just is one of these guys that gets better and better each fight. But then again, Corey has shown nothing to think that he would ever be declining, even with his losses, which were controversial. One of them to Petr Yan, and the other one to TJ Dillashaw, which was controversial. Not for me. I thought TJ won rightfully, but either way, it's just a great stylistic matchup. The striking is going to be phenomenal. We might even see some good jiu-jitsu in that one too. But yeah, I mean, just phenomenal matchup, phenomenal matchmaking, title implications on this one, especially for Chito Vera if he wins. Just a lot going for it. Co-main event, Holly Holm. Okay. Holly back in the ring, taking on Yana, now Santos. Used to be Kinseyara, which also sounds like Kinsieta. Yana Santos, obviously. Name change from marrying Thiago Santos. Is a mom now. Did have a baby not too long ago. I mean, at this point, it's probably been, might be over a year now. But this is definitely, I think this is going to be her first fight since being a mom, so that'll be interesting. Yana has always been a great fighter that has fallen short here and there, and it's going to be very interesting to see where she's at in her career, and it's also going to be equally as interesting to see where Holly Holm is with her career, because she's getting older as well. She's been there, done that, has fought the who's who, has become champion, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, who knows? I think we're getting close to seeing Holly's retirement soon, so I think depending off win or loss, I mean, that could be something we might see at the end of this one, so we shall see. I love the next fight. Alex Caceres brings that good yogi energy. If you ever get a chance, YouTube his latest Octagon interview after his last win. It was such a endearing, funny, moving speech he gave against Nate Landwehr. Oh man, that's a great fight. Nate Landwehr is the opposite. He's a psycho. He's fucking crazy. He comes from the South. He was a bad boy growing up. He just, troublemaker here and there, but found his way through fighting, and it literally gave him like a new lease on life, and he just found his thing, and he's fun. He's entertaining as shit. He talks wild on the mic, and honestly, I think like sometimes I loved it too, because it's almost like, even though he has that past, it's like fighting has made him a good guy, ultimately. Like, he still has that cowboy in him. He's still rowdy, but it's made him a more confident, more humble person at the same time. And, now he's a professional fighter. So, great story behind him as well. Look at this fight, too. Under the radar here, Andrea Lee taking on Macy Barber. Everyone loves Macy Barber. What am I, from Long Island? Macy Barber. She's such a good girl, that one. Macy Barber coming off a win. Andrea Lee coming off a loss. I think Andrea Lee's loss was controversial too. Can you just click Andrea Lee? I'm just interested for myself to see who she fought last. Oh, here we go. Okay. Araujo, who just lost to Araujo. Okay. Yeah. She took Araujo. Yeah, she just fought recently too. Who the fuck? Oh, she lost to Jessica Andrade, I believe it was. Yes. Or no. I think she was supposed to fight Jessica Andrade, and then the step in of Erin Blanchfield. I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore. It does, but I'm on the right path. Anyone that knows the answer knows that I'm right around the right. I'm half right, or I am right. Yeah, so entertaining fight. I love the female matchups on this one. Go down. Okay. Can you just go to the prelims? I just wanted. I remember Alex Perez, Manel Cape. Great fight to end the prelims. Usually the last prelim slot is always going to be an entertaining slot to get you to. That's like wrong. I think they're probably going to meet. Can you go? What does it say? Oh, flyweight bout? Yeah, okay. I don't know if it is flyweight, though. They might be meeting at Bantam, but it's interesting that it said that, though. Manel kept going down in weight for this one. The favorite too over Alex Perez. That's interesting. Tucker Lutz, Daniel Pineda. Okay. Steven Peterson. Keep going. Just Trevin Giles. Okay. CJ Vergara. Great fighter. Entertaining. This is going to be an entertaining card. This is going to be a fun one. This is a great fight night card. And then after this, I think it's a week off, and then we have the pay-per-view. Oh man, the fucking Miami pay-per-view with Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya, co-headlined by Jorge Masvidal and Gilbert Burns in Miami. How fucking fun is that, huh? Yeah, so that's all right. Yeah, so and then I'll make my picks. That'll be a separate video released as a short and as a reel on Instagram. Follow on Instagram at Caution to the Airwaves on Instagram. Twitter at Caution to the Airwaves as well. Like and subscribe. What was it? The what? TikTok? We might work on a TikTok. Yeah, I mean, I'm down. Yeah, that would. But then again, I'm just gonna find myself in more fucking stuff in my face in TikTok content now rather than Instagram reels. I try not to be on social media, but I gotta say it is healthy posting this shit. So yeah, these reels, the shorts, the YouTube shorts, they're all gonna be collectively on all platforms soon. Already started on the Instagram. So, and by the way, I made locks every Saturday. I take a picture of the fight card. I make all the picks for the whole entire card, and I throw my locks on who I. Obviously, if you're familiar with betting, a lock is a guarantee win. That's it, just a guarantee win. And so far, 2 weeks in a row, probably even more. I just started paying attention as of the last 2 weeks that my locks have hit. The last one had 3 locks on it. All of them hit. This one had 2 locks. Jake Hadley and just trying to remember what the other one was. Jake Hadley. I can't remember. It was Jake Hadley and someone else. Mokaev. It was Jake Hadley Mokaev that I had as my locks, and they both won. So check that out on Saturdays as well. Use them to win some money, and maybe throw me a fucking $1 or $2 on Venmo if you do win. But yeah, so we'll leave it there. Hopefully, you all enjoy your week. Enjoy the nice weather that's coming if you're in the region. If you're in a place that weather is nice, God bless, and consider yourself lucky for not having to deal with the fucking blistering, windy cold that we have to endure here in the great state of New York. But you know what? It makes us tough. It builds character. So you need balance. So maybe take a vacation in the wintertime next time in New York and come build some character, huh? But yeah, so that's it. I mean, I'm out of things to say. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you as always. And I will be here next week to talk about the Chito Vera card taking on Corey Sandhagen, and I look forward to it. And then we'll look ahead at UFC 287 in Miami. Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya. Love it. Till next week. Bye.